Hey everybody, welcome back to the Huffman House. If you're new here, I'm Lisa.
I'm Mike.
We got our cocktails cup right here. And we just thought it's the end of the year, so we thought we would kind of go over a
year in review
on the new homestead.
How things are going, things that are going great, things that could do better,
yes.
Our plans for the future, where we're at now. I mean, whole kit and caboodle of stuff.
Yeah, you know, we've been here for a complete year now on this new homestead, so rebuilding and adding to has been a big thing. So yeah. We don't know how long this video is going to be, so we'll probably end up doing it in 2 parts. We'll just see how it goes. Yeah. But we want to start with the gardening. So down here at the new property, as if you've been here a while, you'll know that this was actually his childhood home and land. And it had some gardening done, but not in many years.
Many years.
Yeah, so,
many years.
So,
yep.
We'll start with I guess we'll start with the above ground because we did have it at the other place.
Yeah.
And we did end up moving all of our beds down to here.
And building a few new ones too.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. A couple or 3 new beds.
Yeah. So we had our in-ground up at the old place. We had 4x4 beds. We had 9 of them. And then we had the asparagus bed, which was a 4x8 raised bed. Right. We were able to move all of them down here.
The soil...
yeah, we weren't able to get every bit of it.
You know, so we had worked many years on that soil, so that was kind of discouraging that we couldn't get quite all of it. The amount that we were able to get, we'll post that video below of us moving it, but most of the beds were only halfway full with our old soil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had to take the dirt that we moved from the area that we were putting in the beds and add those to the soil to top it off. Not as nutrient rich as, of course, the soil we've been working on for like 5-6 years, but
we still grew pretty dang good.
We did pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Overall, I mean, you can watch the videos and see what all we grew, but I mean, I think that was for the first year down here without irrigation, mind you.
Yes, because we did have irrigation hooked up at the other place, and the fertilizer that hooked up to the irrigation. So we went this whole year without that.
Yeah, it's all just hand watering, you know, and between work and play, I'm not the best at watering. That's why we had it on a timer at the other place, you know, because I know how I am, you know.
And I don't do well in the heat with my heart condition.
Yeah.
So, you know, having me go out there and water in the heat of the year, you know, isn't something that we kind of
non-conducive.
Yeah. So that would be one of the #1 main things that we are planning on getting done.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have to
for 2023
to get our irrigation, our drip lines back up and running. Now, of course, not to mention we have not only our 9 4x4 beds and our raised bed, our asparagus raised bed, we've got 3 more that are 4x16, and that's where we're growing our corns, our brassicas, and our tomatoes.
And our garlic and onions.
And garlic and onions, yeah. So we're rotating those 3. I need to get water run out to those also. So.
And speaking of the water irrigation and not only having to water above ground, this year down here was our first year doing in-ground gardening.
In-ground gardening.
We had never done that before, except for we had 1 small plot of wildflowers. So that doesn't really count.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
Yeah, so going off of that in-ground garden, like I said, this year was our first year. Did we like it? Yes. Definitely.
Like the extra space.
Definitely.
Is there a lot of stuff we could do better? Most definitely.
Yes, yeah. One of them was weeding.
Yeah.
That
killed it.
He said he didn't quite realize it was going to need what it needed, and I kind of expected it.
I should have known better.
Yeah.
It was an old garden plot. You know, my parents had tilled it up years and years and years and years ago. Of course, it was all overgrown. Had the rhizomus grass in there. Had tons of pigweed and chickweed and weed and you name it. It was probably in there.
He did go in and till it and that type of stuff. But
but it came right back. Y'all know, if you know anything about the rhizomus grass, you know that stuff. If you chop it into 20 pieces, you've got 20 times more grass.
Is that the one
growing.
that is real long?
Yeah. It just puts roots everywhere. So if you're not on top of it, and again, it was a new plot, first time it had been tilled in, I'd say a good 20 years or so.
Yeah.
So we didn't do good on it.
Right.
Yeah.
Now
we did get pumpkins.
If you look back on another video of ours where we're showing our in-ground garden, we did use ground cover on portions of it.
Yeah.
And I stated in those videos that it is well worth it to do the ground cover. I mean,
so we went ahead and purchased a 300-foot roll of, was it 5 foot?
The new one?
Yeah, the new one. So the 5 foot. So we're going to start out, once it's all tilled up, we're just going to lay that on top of it, burn our holes, set up. Each row is going to be specifically for its specific thing on row spacing and all that. And we're going to label it, and it's going to be used until we can't use it anymore years on down the line.
Right.
But we have got to get it.
Yeah, if you can afford it, it's really worth the time and effort getting it. So the first portion of the garden, which had like our brassicas, flowers, that type of stuff, we used it.
Yep.
The other half of the garden, which had our pumpkins, our melons, and we had some fodder for the pigs out there, we didn't. And so that's where it became overgrown with weeds. Now, we didn't do too bad. We got 11 pumpkins, pretty decent size. But melons were choked out by the weeds in the grass so bad that we got nothing. And some of the fodder we were able to get, but again, we didn't have that ground cover, and we will this time. So,
and I wasn't on it for weeding.
No.
Yeah, I don't think I could have weeded enough to keep it.
No, it until we get that garden, not sustained, but established. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, the weed seed bank in there is just way too high. Yeah. So we're planning on. Of course, we've got a few loads of compost laid up on it. I still need to measure out and find out where our plots are going to be and where our spaces are going to be.
That's another thing that we learned by doing it, how we did it this time, is that we are going to shorten it a little bit.
Yeah.
We blocked the compost almost, basically.
Dang near, yeah.
Yeah, so we are changing the layout. And that's one of those things you live and learn. We tried it this way this year. We decided what needs to be changed and fixed. So we're going ahead and doing three
plots. They're going to be, instead of them being 35 by 40, they're going to be 35 by 30. We're going to order a silage tarp so that we can get those, once we get it tilled up and all the compost incorporated, we can cover it with a silage tarp, let the weed seeds that are there go ahead and germinate and die with that silage tarp on there. So we lessen our weed pressure when we do decide to put the ground cover on top and start growing our plants. So that's a change thing, and we'll see how that goes. And then we'll adjust from there.
Exactly. You're always learning. You're always figuring out a better way to do something. So, that's what we found with the in-ground garden. The only other thing that we have to say about the in-ground garden, it grew great vegetables. The only thing we did have a problem with at the very beginning was cutworms, which we didn't have at the other place in our raised beds.
Yep.
So that was something brand new to us.
Yeah, they kind of tore up our cabbage, our broccoli, our
cauliflower,
our kale. I mean, everything that we planted in there on the get-go in spring, once I first had it tilled up, they just went to town.
Right.
And this year, however, we've had the chickens in there, so hopefully they got all the larvae, or at least the majority of the larvae and the pupases and all that stuff, scratched them up, dug them up, and ate them up. And, of course, not to mention that great chicken fertilizer.
Yes, definitely.
So we're looking for a better year, a different year, but a better year next
And,
summer.
we like to share with you, because if you're just beginning, or even if you've been doing it for a while, I like to
Yeah.
share our what worked for us and what didn't, so that maybe we can help you out by our failures.
Yeah.
So, on with gardening. Let's see. Oh, one of the main exciting things this year was when we got a greenhouse, which I had wanted forever.
Yeah.
And we found the perfect spot for it, and it's just right off the back deck, and I absolutely love it.
It is coming extremely handy. Extremely.
Yeah. So we used to have a garden room, what we called the garden room, in our old house, where we had all the seed starting set up. We had all the grow lights. We had the shelves and all that, and we'll try to link that video, or maybe just stick a picture in here.
Yeah, that was way back when, yeah.
So, you know, here, once we got the greenhouse, I mean, we have the room. It's just me and him at home, so we do have the room if we wanted to make a grow room in here. But I really wanted a bigger pantry, so.
Yeah.
You know, so the greenhouse.
It's going to be the pantry.
Yeah. The greenhouse, though, so we did all our seed starting in it this spring.
Yeah.
For this spring, I should say. And it went amazingly well. I mean, of course, it was definitely different than our controlled in the house.
70 degree, 68, 70 degree house. You know, you still got the fluctuations of the greenhouse.
Yeah.
It's a non-heated greenhouse, so the colder nights, you know, we ran a heater, or we had the heating mats.
Yes. So
mats, pads.
When we decided that, you know, we were going to seed start out there, we did buy the heat mats. And so we definitely used those. And then we used, like he said, we did get a greenhouse safe heater.
Yeah,
that
just a floor heater.
Right. It. What we've learned from it, because some people are like, does it do any good? Does it not do any good? It keeps our greenhouse at about 10 degrees warmer.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And that helps. You know, if it's, 20 degrees out, it's at least keeping it closer to non-freezing.
Yeah.
So we did do that. And then during the summer, we did realize that we definitely needed a shade cover.
We had the doors open, had the fan going, and it was still cooking, 100 degrees inside that easily.
Yeah.
So we did order a shade cloth. I want to say we got the 50%.
I think so.
Shade cloth. We didn't use it last summer, but this summer we're planning on growing much more controlled stuff in the greenhouse, so we're definitely going to put it up.
Yeah, so over the summer, what we decided, just because we can, just to experiment, we did grow tomatoes in there and peppers. But like he said, it did get really, really hot.
Really hot.
And then also talking about the greenhouse, the things that we need to change about it, he needs to put in electricity, so we're not just running drop cords. And then also he's going to also put us a water thingy.
Water hydrant? Yeah.
In there so that...
hydrant in there, so we have water right there.
Right there. Yeah.
I mean, it's across from her tea garden, and we have a hose that she waters her tea garden with, so we could just drag the hose inside. But I'd much rather have,
its own
a hydrant right there, so we don't have to worry about hose getting shut in the door, cutting it, whatever.
Yeah. So that's the things we would change about the greenhouse, which is just
electricity.
Yeah, the shade cloth, which we're doing. Yep. So as of December, even last night, so New Year's Eve is actually tomorrow. We went out and picked
a salad.
Fresh salad from our greenhouse.
It actually made it through. We've got, 7 or 8 plants out there of lettuce, and it actually made it through that Arctic freeze that we had. I mean, we hit temperatures 6 degrees.
Well, here. With the wind chill, the lowest we went to was -1, I think.
Yeah. So, I mean, with the greenhouse and the heater, of course, it didn't keep it above freezing. The plants looked horrendous. They did. But they actually made it.
Yeah. So last night, he was able to go pick us a fresh salad. So that's like awesome having fresh salad in the winter.
Yep.
And I don't know about you guys, but the crap I've been getting at the grocery store for lettuce lasts like 2 days, and then it just looks god awful.
Pitiful. Yeah.
So having our own fresh was amazing. I did have spinach up until this Arctic frost.
Yeah.
Growing
green stalk.
in my green stalk. Yeah. And so we ate off of it a couple times.
We did.
But I didn't think to cover it or do anything else with it when this Arctic freeze was coming in. So it's technically gone now.
Right.
But yeah, so definitely growing in the winter time with the greenhouse is definitely going to be a repeat.
We just need to plan a little bit more on the stuff we want. You know we wanted spinach. We knew we wanted lettuce. You know, we just need to plan it just a little bit more to get just a little bit more out of it.
Right.
Out of the greenhouse, and we're going to be set. It'll be just fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, so let's move on to, well, you know, we've had the blueberry bushes. They've been here established for many, many years.
Many years.
I think I ended up getting, gosh, how much did I freeze? Like 30 cups worth in the freezer. That's not talking what we baked with fresh, what we ate fresh. That was just what I got put up. So, I mean, we got a lot of blueberries.
Yeah, so last year I didn't get around to pruning them. This year it's a definite. I'm going to prune those along with the fig tree. And from those prunings, we're going to take some cuttings. There are a couple blank spots in the blueberry patch that we're going to try to propagate our own tree. We have one tree, I believe, that is a little bit earlier producer variety. I don't know what kind of varieties they are. Like I said, they've been here so many years.
I tried that. I don't know if y'all have seen that app. It's called Picture This.
Yeah.
I've heard other people on YouTube talk about it. It's an app on YouTube. On YouTube. It's an app that you can get on your phone, and it's where you can, it identifies plants and such for you. So we did try using that, but sometimes
it came up blueberry.
Yeah.
We're like,
we're like, we know that, but we don't know what kind.
The specifics of it, that we don't know.
Because like he said, we do have one tree, you know, that thing, what's in the thing that's different than the others, or what doesn't belong. There's one blueberry bush in there that's totally different than the others.
Yep. And it comes in a little bit early. So I think being able to get a few more early ones in would definitely help with the harvest. Because there at the end, when the other ones were flush on, the birds came and raided us. Oh my Lord, it was like,
I mean, flocks.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about a bird here or there. We had flocks that would fly in and out.
It was like Alfred Hitchcock.
It really was. It was crazy.
Wings everywhere. It was absolutely crazy. But yeah, so I'm definitely planning on getting them pruned up. The first time, I have no idea. Just watched a lot of videos. I will do a video on how I prune them, whether or not it helps somebody or hinders somebody. I have no idea. But
and then the propagating. If you saw our other, we're getting ready to talk about our orchard, but the fig trees. He did propagate off of our fig tree already.
Yeah. And we got those planted, and hopefully they made it through this freeze. We don't, I don't know. They were kind of small. So if we get a couple more going,
so he's gonna
plant them in the springtime before it gets really hot and let the roots really come out.
Right.
You know, that might help us. Maybe I should have propagated them a little bit earlier
Yeah,
at the
we're
first
just not
freeze
sure.
or something.
This is all new to us too, so we just know that the fig tree he did propagate too, and it worked. So we were pretty excited. So he is going to try and propagate the blueberries and some more figs. We are going to definitely propagate some more figs. And then with this coming up year, we also plan on adding blackberries. Are we doing raspberries? I can't remember.
All depend on you.
Yeah, I know we're doing blackberries. I know we're going to add in grapes.
Yep.
So yeah.
And then 2 cherry trees.
Well, we haven't gotten to the orchard, but yes.
Yeah. Well, I thought we were just talking
But
fruit.
we are getting ready to, well, we are talking fruit, but yeah.
Yep.
So, you know, coming up, those are some of the other berries and such that we are planning on adding to the homestead for sure.
Definitely.
And then he was just saying on the orchard, we do still need to get 2 cherry trees in.
Yes. And a peach. I think we need a peach. We need 1 peach.
Yeah, we didn't get a peach yet either. Yeah. So we did do a video on the orchard. This is our first time starting an orchard.
Yeah. And again, I have to learn on how to properly prune these things, you know, between main leaders and vase style and, Yeah.
Better him than me.
Yeah. So I've been doing a lot of research and a lot of looking up stuff on the interwebs, and we'll kind of figure it out as we go. But I think I got a good grasp on how to set those new trees up for success. So
sorry, I was getting a little bit warm.
Yeah.
Open the door. Yeah. So we put 2 plums.
Yeah.
One was gifted to us from some dear friends of ours. We did 2 pears, 2 apples. That's it, right?
And I think that's where we're at.
Yeah. So we left spots for the 2 cherries.
Yep.
And the peach tree.
1 peach, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think that's gonna suit us for now pretty well.
It's exciting.
Fruit. Yeah. Looking good.
Yeah. So his mom and his dad actually had 2 apple trees out here that just we ended up having to take down.
They were overgrown, they were diseased, they were rotten in the middle.
I think the bigger one grew like 2 apples.
Yeah,
but they were, not usable for sure.
they never came to full maturity. I think the chickens pecked at them for a little bit. And that was
he just tossed them over to them, but
yeah.
they were dying, so we're starting a new orchard, and this is again new and exciting, and we'll be bringing you along with our failures right along with the things that work for us. And I think one of my main concerns still is getting some fence around it so that the deer don't start hitting up.
Yeah, we did do a lot of work on the fencing around the perimeter fencing around the property. However, 4-foot field fence is not going to stop deer from hopping right on over.
No.
So in order to keep them from nibbling on those young succulent little saplings, we're definitely going to have to fence those.
Yeah, put rings of fence around them or something like that.
Try to do something to keep them from...
And because it turns out that his mom would feed them down there, so...
Yeah, my mom, she loved the wildlife, that's for certain. Yeah.
So we're just going to have to kind of keep our eye out on that one.
Yep, that we will.
The only other thing we haven't talked about garden-wise is my tea garden, and it did amazing.
It did great.
We, again, were able to move all the beds and most of the soil for them. We did have to add, but that tea garden really did very well.
Yeah, she got a lot of herbs out of it. And quite a few flowers and beautiful spaces, that kind of thing,
In fact, it was so funny, the dill started growing again.
Yeah, it dropped seeds, I guess, over the summertime. And then once it cooled off, pow,
it started growing again. We had fresh dill, a lot of it, too. It was funny.
That's awesome. It's that whole, nature wants to find a way to grow, like our volunteer...
Oh, we didn't even talk about that in the garden.
Yeah. So undoubtedly.
Yeah.
Indubitably. Yeah, we must have forgot some potatoes when we dug up the other ones, and
in the above ground beds that we had.
We wound up having like 3 plants come out.
I think I got like, gosh, how many pounds? I can't even remember, but I mean they were like really nice potatoes, which has in turn made us decide that we're going to try and do a second crop of potatoes this year.
Yeah, so we're going to do our spring crop like we normally do. We're going to put them out early spring before the first, I think it's like 2 weeks before the last frost.
Yeah.
And then grow those out, and then amend the soil and go back to planting another crop. And I think we're going to have enough time for some fall potatoes.
Yeah, so we're like really excited about that. Yeah. So that's something new also coming to the garden.
Yeah, It's amazing how nature learns you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right, so I think that sums up gardening. We are getting ready as of this weekend, which will be the 1st of January. We will be starting our onions already. I mean, it's like holidays are done and into gardening we go. So, yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, so if this ran a little bit long, which it probably did, we'll probably go ahead and send out another video here in a couple days. We're going to go ahead and continue on with animals and the structures that we ended up having.
Infrastructure.
Yeah, infrastructures. Yeah. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you in a few days.